finally bought my 5th property and I paid 30% down payment for this. But here are the reasons why I proceed with this project. Hi guys, my name is Dylan and today we'll be talking about the thought process of me investing a unit here in Desapark City. Actually, my principle of investing is always to try to leverage banks as much as possible for properties. At the same time, for the cash on hand, I can invest in stocks, EPF, any cryptocurrencies and whatsoever. So I can earn money both ways. The reason why I decided to liquidate some of my liquid assets, stocks, to pay for the 30% down payment of this project. So the reason why I'm paying 30% down payment is because, for those who don't know, every Malaysian has 2 chances of getting a 90% loan quota for residential properties. But unfortunately, I already maxed out my quota, and the subsequent property, I can only get 70% loan for a residential one. So I have to fork out 30% of it. And there will be a lot of noises or thought process in my mind that says, why don't you go for sub-sales? Or we say second-hand properties, because you can fork out the down payment, you can fork out the legal fees and etc. Right? Why don't just go for something that you can immediately unlock your quota and get rental to buy more properties moving forward? Another reason why I didn't opt for sub-sales is actually because if you were to buy a project, right, which will be completing 3 to 4 years down the road, the 30% down payment will not be forked out immediately. Meaning you don't have to fork out that 30% upfront, but it's based on progressive claims. So I'm comfortable with paying it by stages rather than just forking out in a lump sum. The reason why I went for Nura, right, this project Nura, is because of its township location. And there are a few reasons why I proceeded with buying Nura in Desapark City. Okay, so Nura is actually a Scandinavian themed condo located in Desapark City. So Desapark City, I would say it's one of the first township in KL area, which was I think completed in 2005, and it's catered for expats and even a lot of locals that are staying in Kepong area that migrates over here, and it's a stratified township lah, I would say. You have a park, you have lake, you have malls and etc. It's just very nice and pleasant to stay in. And Nura is not newly launched, to be fair. Nura has been in the market, I think, since 2022. For those who know Desapark City, they have always increased their price by batches. And I think from the pre-launching date till now, right, the price for this project has already increased around 15% already. So it's actually a lot. But here are the reason why I still proceeded with this property. The first one will be Nura being the first mixed development in Desapark City. So just talk about some history. Nura is a lot of landeds, strata, big landed mansions and high-end condos. And all of them are residential title, which means that there are no shop lots down there. So all of them, right, just have to, if they want to buy something, they have to walk to the waterfront or Plaza Arcadia, which has area max value over there. You have some cafes, some grocery shoppings, or whatsoever will all be in this waterfront or Plaza Arcadia. But Nura will be the first mixed development where you can stay upstairs and downstairs will be grocery shopping, co-working space and etc. So it's one of the very special selling point for Nura. And being a younger generation, I really value convenience, because let's say if we work from home, right, we can't be walking or skating to the waterfront so often. If let's say we want to grab our lunch, we can just go downstairs, we can buy grocery shopping just downstairs to cook and whatsoever. So it's very convenient. And I believe it's the future trend. And another point is, I realized that when my parents come out to KL to stay, right, when they are hungry because they're not very familiar with using Grab or Foodpanda, they always want to walk to somewhere nearby to tapao or to settle their meals over there. So I was thinking, if this moving forward will be the trend, right, why not Nura? Nura will be very high in demand. That's one of the first reasons that I proceeded with Nura. And the second reason is actually the downsizing trend and the demand for space for youngsters. So if you realize that last time, let's say in 2005 or 2006, it's very popular for landeds or even with condos, right? The size will be around 1,005 to 1,008, 2 to 3 rooms like that. But ever since 2015 or 2017 onwards, the size becomes smaller and smaller due to inflation. Because let's say if developers were to maintain 1,005 square feet, 2 rooms, it's very luxury and not a lot of people can afford that. So they downsize to maybe 800 square feet for 2 rooms. So it's easier and more affordable for people to buy in. Youngsters now, they don't really demand a very big space. In fact, I think studios or one bedder, I would say one of the choices to go for youngsters to live in the future. So I would say Nura is actually targeting youngsters who wants to stay in Desapark City, because overall Desapark City, the rental and the price will be near to $1 million easily. So for Nura, it's starting for 500,000-600,000. I think it's still fair value and easy for people to buy in. The second thing that I mentioned is actually the downsizing. A lot of people that are staying in Desapark, right, they are living in mansions, very big condos, maybe 2,000-3,000 square feet. But a lot of people, when their kids go overseas to study or to work, right, they're only left with empty nesters, which is your parents only. So they want to downsize to maybe 1,500 or 1,000 square feet, etc. So downsizing trend is also happening in Malaysia. So I would say it's actually one of the second point that I foresee to be one of the better choices as well, because the sizes are smaller. Third thing will be Desapark City's branding as a township. I believe a lot of us have encountered or seen ads on Facebook or online, and a lot of developers are just trying to do this township concept where you have a lake, you have a park, you have shopping malls, you have schools and etc. Everyone is just trying to copy Desapark City's success, because as years comes by, we realize how important it is to live in greeneries, to really focus on mental wellness or the convenience. So that's why a lot of developers are trying to do greeneries, large greeneries across your township. If everyone is saying, oh, this condo or this township will be like Desapark, so I was thinking, why not just buy Desapark? So this is also one of the non-quantifiable elements in investment, because you cannot measure ROI with this. So the fourth reason of why I buy this project is actually the capital appreciation of Desapark City. This is also one of the most painful points in Desapark City, is because they do not provide any rebates. Meaning to say, since when they first started their project in Desapark, they did not offer any sort of rebates at all. You are getting a 90% loan, you have to fork out 10%, 80% loan will be 20% and etc. So if you think of this economically, right, then those who can afford to pay 10%, 20% or 30% down payment or whatsoever loan, right, at least their cash flow technically should be strong, which will not lead to that area having a lot of lelong properties, or I would say fire sales. In other words, not to say that there isn't any, there is one or two, but overall, most of the owners there can tahan their cash flow, and it won't lead to the price fluctuating, because if no one throws price, right, for the property, your property will only go up in terms of pricing. It has been a proven record since very long time. Even their recently completed project called Park Region, capital appreciated I think around 300 to 400 ringgit PSF. So it's actually very, very high. And this is also one of the reasons why I bought Nura, because I foresee to continue climbing up in that area. So these are the four main reasons why I proceeded with Nura. But if for those who are still considering Nura, right, you can compare the surrounding rentals and properties. The nearer one to Nura will be South Brooks, West Side 1, 2 and 3. But however, this project will be completed in 2027. So it may be good for me, but it may not be good for you, because it depends on your personal financial planning. If you're just talking about this project itself, I think rental-wise and I think the surrounding-wise, it's not much of a problem. The only problem is, do you want to fork out that 10% to buy this, or are there any other projects or any other sub-sales properties that you foresee to generate a better ROI on it? And if the numbers are right for you, right, I think overall it's a green light to proceed. So just a sneak peek for the brochure, right? This is the first time I've seen a developer doing such nice brochure, right? You can have a look. It's really, really nicely done. And it's really top-notch, their developments. They don't have any showroom, unfortunately, in terms of a show unit, but there are scale models for you to have a look. Alright, so I think that's all for my thought process of me buying Nura. And to sum up, right, the 4 points will be Nura being a mixed development. The second one will be Nura is suitable for downsizing and suitable for youngsters to buy. Thirdly will be the branding of Desapark City as a township planner. And the fourth thing will be actually the capital appreciation track record here in Desapark City. And with that, I thank you so much for listening. And if you'd like to hear more about me sharing on the real estate knowledge or theories in Malaysia, do click and subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.